Welcome y'all to another episode of the Presidential Executive. Again, this is a good edition. It's a new edition. This is your boy right here, JB. This is my brother over here, El Presidente, Rag.
Man, y'all know what to do.
Man, tell them where they can find us at, Rag.
Man, y'all can find us wherever you stream your good podcast on. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple.
Okay.
We're on, hold up, YouTube is Google, right?
It is.
Okay, so yeah, YouTube, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon,
And
Stitcher. Bow.
Hey, we have a distinguished guest, man. You know what I mean?
Distinguished.
And so, whenever this comes out, this probably, I don't know, this may come out next week. You know what I'm saying? This may come out in a couple weeks. But the voice that you heard on the live,
Killing it on the live.
on the, what's the episode called? Victim Mentality.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. It's Victim Mentality, where we got on Stephen A., LeBron, Lizzo, talked about a plethora of topics.
He was going back and forth with me.
Oh, yeah. And I liked it. You know, I love it. You know what I'm saying? You know, I love it because, you know,
it was like Hagler and Hearns.
Right,
Yeah.
it was a good sport, man. That
Yeah.
was a good sport. That's why I told you, y'all lifted my spirits.
Yeah,
So I was like,
that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
That's how them church meetings used to be back in the day.
Yeah, that was good
Oh,
stuff.
for real. But that's why he had me in there, though.
Yeah.
That was some good stuff.
But I want you to do what you do best. You know what I'm saying? You introduce our people.
Okay,
You know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying? Better than Shay does
So,
on his
Shay.
Shay.
He can't hold a camera.
Yeah, you kill him.
Now, tight end wise, he got me, but no, when it comes back in the
Man.
introduction, it's over with.
sure.
So, I mean, this guy, like, we go back, man, years, like, back when I was heavily in the music game. He was my manager at one point. Definitely a ride or die. Like, I mean, I can't tell you the times we almost rode on somebody, but he
You
was-
still heavy in the music game.
no, I'm saying when I was. No, I'm not saying I'm not now. But
Okay,
I'm saying
okay.
I was more heavy.
Okay.
I was more heavy.
heavier.
I was heavier.
I got
I weighed a lot more.
He's Lizzo now.
Yeah, I'm listening. I lost some weight in the music game.
He's
Right,
Lizzo in the game.
but he was my
lost
manager at
weight.
one point. Man, one of my biggest compadres doing music. You know, like he introduced me to my homegirl AO, who was like, man, a big collaborator with me.
I did not know that.
Right, and he's her cousin, and so
Yeah.
that friendship has spanned over 20 years.
That's what's up.
With her and I. Like I said, my manager, he was definitely in the promotion game, the music game. He is a reformed drug dealer. Still a current. So Blood Piru.
Still die move. to
Blood
the
Gang
die,
Die Move.
die.
Okay. Man, he is a community activist, leader, author, writer, playwright, spoken word artist,
That's
slick
crazy.
singer. No, yeah, he do all of that. He
Don't
do all
forget
of
to
that.
say, I was about to say,
Like I said,
Yeah,
manager, producer,
Yeah.
man, minister, pastor,
that's a lot of time.
That's a
man, entrepreneur. I mean, he's put the battery in the backs of a lot of people.
Dang. That's
I mean, whether they could dance, whether they could hoop,
Okay.
whether they could write, whether they could sing, whether they could rap, he put the battery in my back. And then, like I said, when I had an op, he wasn't one that talked about it. Like he's like, nigga, what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Like he mean mug harder than me. You know what I'm saying? But man, like I said, man, over 20-something years of brotherhood, friendship. I mean, he has definitely been a big brother to me. And we both can tell each other when our shit stink. You know what I'm saying?
It's always good.
Man, definitely good.
Always good.
Man, the one, the only, Broderick Pastor PB Connesero, straight from the block. And we say the block because if you go back, you already know what the block
You
is.
already know.
Man, he in here.
What it do?
So good to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes,
amongst
sir.
the brother.
And JB might have you on the Preacher Man podcast.
Bring me on.
Yes.
Bring me on.
Yes. That'll
please.
be definitely definitely dope. We can definitely get into
looking
some
for them
things.
platforms. I got a lot to say.
And he know Pastor Mike.
You know, Pastor Mike Arnold?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the OG. That's
Right.
the
Okay.
No, so remember when I was telling you when Pastor Mike was on here that the organization I was working with and Pastor Mike had roasted the guy?
Yeah.
Like he was talking about your boy, right? Like, and I said that he got mad because the person who I followed, which was him, he didn't know that me and him was that cool, and so then he had it out for me because he was like, "Oh, you cool?"
Okay,
with
so
Broderick?"
he was talking about Broderick.
Yeah, right. He
Okay.
was like, "Oh, you cool? You came up with Broderick," and then that's how me and old boy had it out because he had released Broderick, and he didn't know when he got me. It was like, and then Broderick was like, "Oh, you got Roche?" Oh, he was like, he's just like me, except for he don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Okay.
that just, you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah.
I'm connecting a lot of dots because, like I said, I didn't know you was AO's cousin.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's
I
the
just
homie.
saw her in front of Best Buy the other day.
Oh, word. Yeah. Like AO.
funny.
Again, I told the story kind of off camera, but AO was I met her up at TSU. I think it was you reminded me too. It was Ludacris first came up when his Incognito album was already out.
Yeah.
I think it was
was
Incognito.
the first one.
But then he was the Chicken and Beer was about to come out. I think.
No, so it was Incognito first, then Back for the First time.
Back for the first time. That's what I'm talking about.
And then,
Yeah, and so they had like a contest or whatever, and they had these two dudes that I knew that was flowing, and then they had this little petite girl from Memphis that come up. Like
with
I had
glasses on.
Yeah, she probably had glasses. I don't know if I remember that.
The glasses in the ponytail.
But she came up, bro, like light skin, like look, it's
Straight
like,
out of Westwood.
Man, she came up. I forgot what she said, but I know she said she from Memphis. That's what I remember. But she was flowing. She sounded like, when I first heard it, it sounded like the Brat.
Right. She had that sound.
It sounded like the
She
Brat.
had that
And I was like, she from Memphis and da-da-da this. And like, I was like, and Keenan was with me. And we was just like, who is this girl just going off? Like, I thought she was going to be like next up. Because Ludacris was there. Def Jam South was there. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a thing. So we like, man, she about to go. And then I had the privilege of working with her when we was with DMR. We did a couple records and stuff with her then. And yeah, man. So that's good to connect the dots. I did not know. I did not know, bro.
That's family.
Now, when she spit that bar where she's like, True Religion shirt, True Religion jeans, True Religion shoes, I guess I'm true to you, to you, to you. You know,
Yikes.
Now, you remember we had the joint that me and Nove put out.
Which one?
The album that me and Nove put out.
Yeah, you talking about Long Overdue?
Yeah, Long Overdue.
Yeah.
And so you remember we were doing that. We came to TSU, and I don't know if Nove came up. Like I might have been promoting it.
Yeah.
And so we had this dude to come through, and he tried to battle me. And so like AO was up there.
Yeah.
I said, man. She was like, all right. I said, man, you know what? I said, AO, nigga, handle my man. And she ripped it, man. She ripped dude so bad.
This was at the homecoming.
Right. He walked off and didn't even, like, he disappeared in the crowd. She ripped him so bad.
It's cold, bro.
Cold. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, hey, AO was there. But like I said again,
Cold,
I wouldn't even know AO. I'll never forget we was at DJ Bo's studio back in Fraser.
DJ Bo. You got to find Bo, bro.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, Bo gonna be on here.
You got to find Bo.
Oh, we gonna have Bo on here. Off of University. You know what I'm saying? On Theta.
You should do a reunion.
I know, right.
Really do.
So, yeah, but
really do.
So we at DJ Bo's house, the studio, you know, in Fraser, and like he's like, oh man, Ro, he's like, man, I'm gonna get you to be on the track with my cousin. I'm like, okay, bet. So I'm thinking it's some dude, right? I'm like, okay, like you got some nigga finna be spitting. And so he kept talking. He's like, man, yeah, she cold. I was like, she. Yeah. So now I'm thinking like, okay, this finna be like Boo or Chad or somebody. Man, she walked in, this little petite, you know what I'm saying? Light skin with the glasses, ponytail, with the backpack on. I'm like, man, where's she finna like, nigga?
And killed it.
But man, when that beat came on, she got in there. I'm like, her whole voice changed. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, and that was like,
it was the days too. I remember we used
aggressive
to be
tone, bro.
We used to be in the studio. It was, you know how you hear in the Hip Hop Chronicles of Life these magic moments in studios. With Bo, we had some real moments like that. Yeah. It's like the stuff we did. See Micah, I remember Saturdays.
Yeah.
Broad middle of the day, we in the lab, as they call it, just going late nights during the week, 1, 2 in the morning, dropping what would have been considered if on a larger platform. We would have literally been that diplomat Rockefeller story, because those moments was unbelievable. Yeah. They was unbelievable.
When I be hearing about stuff, man, like I tell them all the time, just like I was kind of behind the scenes a lot and looking at them, what they did, you know what I'm saying, with all y'all groups, you know what I'm saying? You talking about you, Vic, Nova.
Oh, well, definitely
you know what
the
I'm
whole
saying?
New Genesis was
the whole new Genesis and stuff.
Like
and
the A-Team, Justified, REV.
Everything they were doing with Bo, man, was
what was that other
was
group I used to
legendary.
roll with when we did World Overcomers? They had like 4 or 5. And London was the female
War
rap.
Clique.
War Clique.
Yeah.
They was killer too. I read into one of them.
Yeah.
It's like that's how you know you old. You run into everybody that retired. They delivering packages and working in places. Like man, we old.
One ain't Buddy in work with a War Clique preacher.
My homeboy.
Preacher
well,
man.
No, you don't see Michael was with me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
See, Michael was.
But my guy who passed, Polo, he was
Polo
with
man.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Last year. Yep.
Wow.
It's been almost a year now.
Man, okay.
No, I'm thinking about Priesthood.
Okay,
That's the one.
Priesthood fan. No, Mario.
Yeah.
Okay. No, because it's crazy. I told you I was delivering mail. I said, Mario, like, what's up, baby? What's good? I was like, but yeah, Priesthood. Yep. That was another one.
Them folks hard, bro. Like I said, I never really listened to like Christian hip hop like until probably I heard them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I was like, I was kind of leery of it. And so I heard it from them first. Then I got hit to Lecrae. Then Ambassador, Christology.
Yeah.
That was classic, you know what I'm saying? Then, Corey Red and all those cats. So that was like really my first introduction. And so it was like, it didn't feel like what I thought Christian hip hop was.
Right.
It didn't feel like what I thought.
And see, that was big for me when we did what we did. Because like you, I didn't like church rap.
Right.
So like when I started, I'm literally listening for what I would have listened to on the block.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And he was the first, him and C. Michael were the first two dudes that had the vocal oomph.
Yeah.
That I would put them in front of anybody.
Yeah.
And they could rap about Jesus all day and you wouldn't even, it wouldn't bother you.
Right.
Cause you just gonna feel what they saying when you remember y'all started dropping the mixtapes. And man, and it was just like it was like man, it was like for me that was important because I know and the sad part is in 2025 you still got that battle. You know what I'm saying? With folks like I don't like listening to Christian rap. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's like.
And there's some dudes that's nice though.
To me nowadays,
but they still corny though.
I don't know. I miss like Bizzle is.
It's like the beat making for whatever reason. When a dude finds Jesus, he loses his Neptune.
I don't know. You think Bizzle is on there? And then he from Cali too, so I
can't really say. Cause
to me, he's always been. He ain't never fell off.
The dude that did the stuff with Lecrae, because like I'm so out of touch now.
Yeah.
But the dude that Lecrae did the church clothes stuff with,
right.
Dude is solid.
Right.
DJ Cannon.
Yeah, Cannon is solid. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they got some people, but for the most part,
right, as a whole,
you still dealing with an argument that me and you was battling against umpteen years ago, and that shouldn't be the case.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
It's way different now. Like I kind of keep up with it now. Like I know cats like No Big Deal, KB. It's this dude named Miles Minnick. Mm-hmm. Miles Minnick is real. He actually out there from Cali.
Okay.
And one of the he a secular DJ. He was on some Apple podcasts. He gonna be messing with him, and so it's like today to me. If you saying Christian hip hop is whack today, I don't think you really been listening.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because the beats are wild now. Like Derek Minor.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
Pro.
Yeah.
Nah, he's dope. He's dope. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if Fizzle still do it or not.
Man, it's crazy. Derek Minor. So he goes by his name now. His name is actually
Derek Minor. Yeah.
When I met him, he was pro.
Yeah.
We were on our way to do this. It was a show in Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got D-Mob out there.
D-Mob,
K-Drop.
Now he cold too, bro.
So we're at a gas station, right? And so we pull up to the gas station. So it's me, Wes, you know what I'm saying, in the car. Chris, Vic, we all in the car. Mikey in the car, you know what I'm saying. Mike ain't number 10 then.
Mm-hmm.
So we pull up, we bumping, and then this car pulls up. There's a black guy and a white guy in the car. They bumping. We're like, man, so they looking at us like, man, what y'all bumping? Like, oh, this us. It's like, oh, y'all rap. So we let them hear, like, man, y'all tight. So I'm like, man, what y'all bumping? Like, oh, this me. Like, oh man, nigga, you tight. Like, you know,
wow.
it's like, man, what's your name, man? My name Pro. And then his boy name was, a white guy name was B. Cooper. I'm like, okay, man, y'all tight. He's like, man, where y'all at, man? We headed to Jackson. I'm like, man, we headed to Jackson too. Like, word. Like, so we met each other on our way to the same gig.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then, so like, we performing this gig, like we have a mad cipher, like where we freestyle and everything, and then like to see him when he gets with Lecrae, it's like, nigga, like it's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was dope to be in that situation, you know, with them. But to his point, it can be frustrating because like you listen to certain cats and it's like, okay, this whack, I ain't gonna listen. But because I've always been a big Bizzle fan. If you remember, we used to be back at your crib back when we stayed in the Meadows. You know what I'm saying? And like when he had the song where
when he was
like,
rough around the edges.
Yeah, like and it was like like he's always been one. Everybody who's been with his camp, like Andy Mineo and certain cats like that.
Yeah.
I mean, certain songs you cannot like, but overall, like they
like
been
don't put no money on my words because I'm back to the days I don't even listen to Christian rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it ain't secular, you know what I'm saying? If it ain't Big Boogie and Kendrick, I ain't listening.
Right. Well, you remember we had that jump back in the day. Like I forget what happened. I had the red tempo, and you rode with me for something. And you was like, "Oh, I got this," and I'm like, "Man, you playing this edited version?" Because I want to say it was the Fat Joe when Fat Joe and 50 was dissing each other.
Yeah.
And you put that journey in, and I'm like, all the words was bleeped out.
Yeah. I was saying,
and you was like, maybe I was like, it's like I'm a preacher now. I can't be listening.
I was saying,
man,
real here, JB.
I said, nigga, I don't care.
I was hitting them folks with the Souls and Salvation service.
Man,
like,
I would tell him, we had a boy, Big Rod, you know what I'm saying? He used to, I wouldn't say make, but he was just like, get all your secular CDs, you know what I'm saying? Let's do like a, throw on, you know what I'm saying? Crush it. Nah, I was like, Rod, I ain't doing that, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I have my masterpieces and all my Tupac stuff. Yeah. And he was like, man, you need to just smash all your secular CDs. I was like,
man, let me get the true story. Funny as I don't know what. When I first got to the place of like edited music, right? I'm a big Jay-Z fan.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
Lifetime, the second one, was out. So I bought it before Jesus with cursing in it.
Yeah.
Got saved.
Right.
Got rid of the curse version.
Yeah.
this how powerful
in my lifetime volume 1.
This how powerful Jay-Z is. I bought the edit and I played it. Man, when I listened to, oh wait a minute, this ain't gonna work for me.
What is this?
This ain't Jigga, no, this ain't Jigga.
Yeah.
And it was crazy though. It was like, I did the switch, but when I put on Jay-Z, it was like, we gotta go back. Yeah. We gotta go back.
Go ahead.
Nah, it was different. Like I used to. Now I did after that time. I bought like a Tupac Greatest Hits album, but it was, you know what I'm saying. It had bleeped all the stuff out.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't even.
His Greatest Hits you can get away with on the edited though.
It didn't still sound the same to me. Nah,
it
was like
there's some Greatest Hits albums you can flow without the.
Some of them, like Brenda's Got a Baby.
Yeah.
I Get Around, you know what I'm saying?
Get Around, you roll all day on the that one.
But when you got to Ambitions of a Rider, You Can't See Me, you know what I'm saying? It just sounded like a little different. But like
I said, adversaries cry like hoes, fully eradicate my foes, my lyric explode on contact.
But I get it. I get it though.
I'm the one.
Say my name. Watch it. Come. I fire when ready.
I get all of it though. I get all of it.
Yeah.
Now, what I do want to do, I want to get into like just like you though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, and just see like, you know,
shoot the questions.
Where you're from.
All right.
You know what I'm saying. You know, grow up, what type of household you grew up in.
All right.
We can just start with kind of those two and kind of flow off that.
All right. So, born and raised in Compton. Lived with my grandparents for most of my life, really. Was back and forth. My mom was a go-getter, and she believed in getting the clothes, paying the bills, And while that was going on, she had a support system with my grandparents that allowed her to go make money, and I was safe. And so living with them is where I met God, I met Ludus Park Mob, and I met a girl named Tina Hicks. You know what I'm saying? And that was my start. I learned with my grandparents about God in ways that would forever establish my theological frame. Right? From watching my grandmother every morning. Now, you know, in Cali, especially in the inner city part, it ain't, you don't typically get a lot of grass, you get more concrete, right?
Yeah.
And I used to watch my grandmother literally water the backyard down like she was watering grass. But it was her morning devotional time. And that lady broke it down to me that every time she rinsed, her prayer to God was cleansing her family. And so I was exposed to that. You know what I'm saying? I was exposed to a grandfather who loved the LA Dodgers and the Bible. And he had maybe an elementary education. But that man could take the Bible and deal with that thing. And then because he was the typical black male of that time, he didn't have an education, but he worked in a hospital and could take what he learned by being like a nurse assistant. He could take what he learned in the hospital and preach it on Sunday with the dry bone sermon. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He was that person. And that was my theological concept. And then it was the challenge of them putting me in this idea and trying to keep me from Ludus Park and the mob. And so they did their damnedest to keep me behind the gate. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to go over there with Smurf and them. And like any church kid, I want to be with Smurf and them at. Because they had fun over there. It's boring over here. Because at my grandma's house, I was the kid. When my cousins came to my grandparents, we played church. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Over my cousin and auntie house, we played football, baseball, basketball with the milk carton, and you cut the bottoms, and you know what I'm saying? Wow. And so when it came to comparing, it was like, Grandmama, I gotta go. I need to get around the corner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then that same world is where, like I said, with Tina Hicks, my grandmama taught me about women. You know what I'm saying? And ain't wasn't no woman good enough for me. And especially nobody from, you know what I'm saying, from Palm Ave. All of them husbands, Jezebels, you know what I'm saying? And so I grew up in that. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in that. And that would literally be the wrestle for me from elementary, middle school, and high school. Because to all the stuff that Roche called out, I was every bit the writer. But because of where I was from, in my high school days, I had to go sit in my English teacher's classroom and watch Raisin in the Sun.
Raisin in the Sun.
I
remember that. We had to read that.
While my homies was on the lunch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I couldn't talk about Raisin on the Sun with them. When I walked out to them, I had this little bow-legged walk I did. You know what I'm saying? And I went and got my pizza and fries, and we was tripping about females.
Yeah.
But I literally would slide away and meet my, you know what I'm saying, go to my English teacher and read Fences, watch Raisin in the Sun. And so again, this was my tension. And it was always the battle of being the dude with the pea hat and the dude who was the grandson to the pastor that everybody respected. And I literally battled with that forever. Told my granddad in elementary, never forget it. I told him in elementary, because I was always girl crazy. That's why my grandmama got on me, because I was too girl crazy.
Yeah.
It was a girl named Kenya Williams in elementary, and she played.
Everybody
remember all the names.
Yeah, you remember the names.
No. I was about to say,
all the names.
I remember the first girl I probably had a crush on in elementary school. A girl named Crystal Smith.
You don't forget them names.
Crystal Smith. It's like you don't forget those names. What do you say?
This is the thing that made her Kenya Williams.
Yeah.
We played tetherball. They played tetherball in elementary back then.
Yeah.
And she was the queen of the tetherball court.
Yeah.
And she was in the 6th grade, and she had all the tops that other girls in our grade didn't have. So I was in love.
Yeah.
And in me being in love, my best friend, Nate, he had a twin brother, David, and they was Crips. And again, in elementary, I'm just being exposed to all this. I'm just being exposed. But David, I had 4 homies, David, Bernard, Nate, and Devon. And they was bad, but they was all Crips. And they was young Crips in elementary. Mm-hmm. And girls in my school was crazy about them.
Yep.
And Kenya told me she didn't want a church boy. She wanted David and Nathaniel.
Of course.
Man, I ran home to my granddaddy.
You had to let them know.
And after because I had preached for in the 4th grade, I did my first sermon.
Really?
And 4th grade. By the 6th grade, I had been preaching for 2 years. Me and my grandfather was a Pentecostal package. I did what they would call lecture.
Yeah.
I did the lecture part in revivals for him. They give me 10, 15 minutes, get a little crate, put me on it, and I'm preaching and mimicking everything I learned from watching him.
Yeah.
And everybody go crazy. And then he'd come, and as they said, he'd shut the house down, Doc. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, Elder James, you and your grandson did that for 2 years, and it was so unreal for me because here I am, elementary age, singing in the school choir, going to church every Sunday, but constantly confronted with this other life, and in that the battle was so real, but God was so present because I would preach, and literally my 5th grade year, I missed so much school on Mondays because preaching was so much, it was so draining.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I ain't knowing what it is. My grandma would be like, it's all right, baby, just rest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And my grandfather just laughed at me, and I'm like, what's funny? I'm literally tired. I can't walk. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I done worked a real job.
Yeah.
And fast forward 6th grade, I told him, I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Everybody on Harris Block, you know what I'm saying? Marcus and Chris and them running up and down the street having fun, and I'm at church with you 4 days out the week. You know what I'm saying?
Go back to because you talked about the split that you had from wanting to be, you said Ludus Park.
Yeah.
So what for those people who don't know, 'cause that's obviously what part of California? Compton, right? So we in them.
Right, y'all in Memphis.
So I mean it sounds good, but I guess say what that is, and I guess because you've been in Memphis long enough, what would be the Memphis equivalent to that for those who don't know?
To me, with my experience in Memphis, the closest thing that has ever made me feel like Compton is Orange Mound. It's the closest thing. Ludus Park was like a Bethel Grove.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And the mob was a hood in an area outside the park. Where Ludus Park was Piru Blood, because that's the other thing. That's a whole nother gang 101 conversation. But the mob, the mob was and we had those kind of people. You know what I'm saying? The mob got people on songs by Tupac. You know what I'm saying? And so growing up, people like Pooh, Robert, that I grew up with, E-Rock, Smurf, Stank, Buntry, all them people.
Hold up. So now the same Buntry that's Mob James Buntry?
Yeah.
So you knew so now I don't know if you listen to Mob James interview on Vlad TV. Buntry was the brother of Mob James. And
you talking about the dude to be on
the Vlad TV interview, right? Mm-hmm. He always talk about his brother.
Yeah, so that's Mob James. Yeah,
right. His brother got killed, but Buntry was the brother, right?
Yeah.
So when you said Buntry, I'm like,
you grew up with him.
I grew up around him. I was younger than them.
Right.
Because when Mob James was literally the mob.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He was the poster. You know what I'm saying? That's why he was called Mob James.
Yeah.
And so as a young dude, I never crossed that path. You know what I'm saying? Who I was under was my family. You know what I'm saying? LaRon, all of them. And but I was known because of my family. And as I got older, because of people I connected with, I became more familiar and known amongst people. But the battle was always there. And, you know, it's been years, but yeah, it was a lot I saw, you know what I'm saying, in my junior and senior year of high school. I remember the first Saturday, I'm walking from my grandma, because my grandmother lived, so Compton and Linwood is funny, because they right here. They like literally, it's like saying Fraser and Raleigh. You know what I'm saying? It's right there.
Right.
And so my grandmother lived on Palm. The mob started once you got to the corner of my grandmama's house. Right? And I would walk down Palm to get into the mob to go to my family house who was in the mob. And it was just, I remember one Saturday walking and literally 10 seconds before I hit the corner, Lil Tubbs got killed from a party the night before, and me and my relative walked up and watched him take his last breaths. And it was just like, again, I'm in the 11th grade. And I'm just like, dang, and that was my first face to face with death. You know what I'm saying? I done seen dudes get cut. I done seen a dude get pulled out of his mama's house and got his ear get cut off with scissors. You know what I'm saying? Growing up. Right. That was the stuff you saw. That day was the first time I saw death.
Now, I want you to talk about like the tension you was talking about, like
with faith and the life.
Yeah, because being so young, you know, you can't really, know, mentally like what that is. What you know is, you know, that you're preaching, that you're with your granddad and doing stuff like that. But what did that tension, now that you got hindsight, you know what I'm saying? Like what did that tension like? What did it feel like? Like, can you articulate kind of what that struggle felt like?
It was always a wrestle.
Yeah. It
was always, the wrestle was there. I couldn't have articulated it then. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't have articulated it to the point where I could have been clear to people. But I felt that thing, right? I felt it every time because as much as I wanted to be the knucklehead, the tension of that desire would always be challenged.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whether it was the people, the adults with me, over me, or whatever, they constantly put me in this place. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a neighbor, Mr. Bradley, who always kept it on my mind that, dude, you ain't supposed to be like this.
Right.
You rolling with Mark now, but that ain't you. And you know, he would use the reference of my grandfather, right? And so elementary, it was just the tension of, but I want to be so much like them.
Yeah.
But who I was internally, like I said, would always have conflict with it. It's like, but we ain't supposed to be that. You know what I'm saying? It's like we like playing church. You know what I'm saying? Right. We like being, I was so different. And that was the thing. Even when I wanted to be bad, I was still different at being bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then the humorous part of God is that he would allow me to get so far, and right before I hang myself, he would use something to trip me up and expose what I was doing, and I would have to get straight again.
Right.
And so it was in those ways that I experienced the tension. Because it was like, it's like that thing, you know, it's like whenever I want to do wrong or whenever I think to do wrong, it's this thing just constantly like, nah, what is you doing?
Right.
What's wrong with you? And so that was what the tension was like in hindsight.
I asked you that because I mean you getting to know me too. Like I'm a son of a preacher, so I'm a preacher's kid. So like I always was like Prentice Brown's son. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So since I was born, like he always was a licensed reverend, minister, pastor, and stuff like that. And so I was just trying to see if it was something that I could relate to or wrestle with, because I was pretty much kind of the same thing, to where even when I was bad, like and I had my wilding out times, right? Mm-hmm. But it was like even in my wilding out times, it was still reduced because I felt like I could have did way more. But it's like the Lord kind of kept me.
What was your wilding out time? That's what I know, because when you say that, and this kind of goes about for those of you all who watched last week, and this is what I was trying to get you to say, like we always talk about that Game of Thrones quote where he says like your past, wear it like armor. Mm-hmm. So if you wear it like armor, they can't do anything to break you down. Yeah. So like for you, because like we know obviously the things that you went through and dealt with, like what does that look like? What does your wilding out look like?
For me, like I was never really about like gun violence, even though I was around it. I was more like pimp player type. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, it looked like, you know, I did sell some dope for a short time and did things like that. I think I told you about the time where this drug kingpin in Nashville came to us and wanted us to, you know, do something while working at FedEx. And obviously I went to, you know, I did go to jail for like a DUI, like drug charge, and had spent, you know, a little time in jail. I think it was about 3 days, which, you know.
Scared straight.
Yeah. And so, and so getting STDs, you know what I'm saying? Had an STD, was dealing with about 3 or 4 women at the same time. I remember I was working at Vanderbilt at the time, went to the bathroom, I ended up pissing out pus. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Pus and blood at the same time. Like, I thought I was dead. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't never seen nothing like that. And so, you know, things like that. And so then you talk to God, it's like, bro, like, you know, get me out of this. You know what I'm saying? I'll fly straight, and you know what I mean? Like things like that. So wilding out for me was more so, you know, dealing with women, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, doing certain things of that nature, and like, you know, being, I want to say like, it's a discredit for people that's actually been in the street, right? But, you know, dealing with things like that as far as drug, weed, pack, stuff like that, dealt with for a short period of time. But, so yeah, that's
to your question about my tension. Here was the other crazy thing about God with dealing with me, while I kept wanting to be on the other side. One, I was on this. So I used to rob. That was my other name of fame in the hood. And I remember one time, me and the homie decided we was just gonna stick up folks, and so we jumped in the car and we going. This is how cold God was on me. I'm robbing a young boy. He walking down the street at this time. Y'all remember the starter jackets when they came out? Yeah. Young boy had a fresh new Chicago Blackhawks starter jacket. And so me and the homie like, oh, we got to get that. And so we pull up, I rob him, right? Broad daylight. Now this is me. No mask, because again, I'm that dude. I don't care. I'm like, boom, drop it. He just like, shroom. 30 minutes, we in the hood celebrating. We got this, we got the chain. My beeper go off from a female that I used to deal with, blowing me up. And I call her back. I'm like, what's up? B, you know you wrong. You know, hood call just, that boy crying. You can't do that. Bro. B, you know you ain't supposed to be that way. That happened to me, right? Then it would be other moments as I got older where like I had a spot in Memphis selling dope out of it. About 3 apartments the week of got hit by Memphis police, right? Everybody got caught. the apartment where I was set up in, this one day I'm on the basketball court. The narcs come. Now, anybody know the game, when they coming, they coming. Mm-hmm. These folks literally, I'm on the court, watching, knock on the door of the apartment like a Mary Kay salesperson. Right?
Yeah.
I ain't there. Now, the norm, don't go back to that apartment because they know you there.
Right.
Dude, that warning from God, I went back to the apartment. The police never came back. And that was one of several signs that would come later. You know what I'm saying? I took some money to do a job. On my way to the job, the car broke down 4 times. And then it rained crazy.
Right.
All to keep me from because this one thing, I think this, if I would have did this one thing and then just keeping it with y'all with 100, I literally got paid to kill somebody. Mm-hmm. All I had to do was get there by a certain time after he dropped his daughter off, and it was going down.
Yeah.
On my way there, car broke down 4 times. It rained cats and dogs.
4 times?
4 times. So when I finally pulled up on his house, he was walking in his door. That was the tension between me and God. To where he kept me from a lot of stuff while I was so eager to get in stuff.
Now, at that time, is that hindsight that you looking back, or in that moment
Man,
that
in
you
that
already
moment, when the car, me and my homie, who is my brother-in-law now, in that moment,
wow.
You know what I'm saying?
You talking about Lena?
Yeah. In that moment, we knew. It was like, oh no, man, what? Because this is our faithful ride. You know what I'm saying? We hit Shelby Drive every day. Mm-hmm. That day broke down 4 times. And then it would just start after a while. Me and him ain't nobody mechanic. You know what I'm saying? We didn't try to, because it was raining, so we didn't even get under the hood like, oh man, all right, start it. No, we would just sit there for 15 minutes. And so every 15 minutes made us late for the window of time we had. And in the moment, I ain't have to, I told him then, I was like, dude, God don't want me to. And because I always, again, when you in the seat, me and you know God. Right. It's like, I don't give a dang how much wilding you try to do. Yep. God is at the tip of your tongue, at the forefront of your thinking, in the middle in your ear at all times. No matter how much you try to block him, telling you don't want to talk to him, he there.
See, the crazy thing about that, bro, like one time I had this girl, I was living up at TSU, and I had her come up, you know what I'm saying, like we was about to do something, bro, like, and at that point in time, it ain't never happened to me before. Like I couldn't get it up. At all.
Like you ain't gonna do like being say no names. Like you go.
We gonna say no names. We gonna say no names. But I tried, like, right, and so I did I had the videos. I had porn videos. You know what I'm saying? I had stuff like that. I had this junk. I can go listen to in the car. I tried everything, dog.
Oh,
but I could not. Cause that's the reason she came up there, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we coming up there to watch a movie, go to dinner. Like we came
wasn't
up,
on Netflix. And
no, we were just smashing
and dashing.
But like stuff like that, I'm just like what's up? What's going on? Like this ain't like stuff like that. Like from what you're saying, just on the other side of it, it was like certain things, just like why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it makes you, in real time, I'm thinking like, God don't want me to.
Yeah.
Don't want me to do this.
Every time something failed.
Yeah.
I knew why it failed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even like you, I had relationship moments.
Yeah.
With women that I think if it would have went there, I'd be in a whole nother city lane in life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just look at it and as a man, you just like, okay, God definitely didn't want that one to happen.
Right.
Then you look after time, you look at the person like, that's why.
You see what's
right.
That was the reason.
You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy because it's rare. Because we've had moments where even like when you had we had Pastor Mike in here, like his dad wasn't a minister. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like his dad was just a good guy that lived the word, that
worked
helped
hard
out in the community. But like it's rare because all three of us were sitting here. You know what I'm saying? And from your granddad, like your dad, my dad, and then you already know like your dad and my dad was real tight.
Yeah.
Like it's this whole thing that like on the one hand, people on the outside is like, oh well, y'all come from this, so y'all ain't this or y'all ain't that. But on the other hand, it's like, oh y'all be the worst ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a reputation.
You know what I'm saying? And so like for me, it wasn't I didn't feel the need like I got to. I'm not necessarily trying to do something, but it's that need of having to prove yourself because it's like, oh, well, your dad is. So if I punch you in the face, you're gonna turn the other cheek, right? Mm-hmm. Like that was kind of the thing for me. So like I got into a lot of dumb shit because it was like I just need to get y'all up off of me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily that I want to be in the stuff or want to do it, but like I got to show y'all that like y'all don't know what go on up in here.
Yeah.
So like if I actually start enacting the stuff that's up in here, like you can't hold a candle to me. Did you ever? I guess, and he talked about the tension. Like, what was beside the fun that you saw? Like, what was the pull for you to get out there and actually get away? Because the relationship part was real. Mm-hmm. Like you're actually lecturing at a young age. You know, at 10, 11, 12, you're
that's
actually
crazy,
sitting up there,
bro.
right? And that's way beyond anything I was doing.
Man.
Like now, I could tell you about the scripture, but I wasn't up trying to preach in front of nobody. But like, so to be on that side, and that had to be real for you. But like the other part, like what made you go to that other part?
So, what life did a great job of with me growing up was it gave. I was surrounded by foolishness. The only good thing in my life were my grandparents and Palm Ave. You know what I'm saying? Palm Ave, I could be a kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Palm Ave was literally the Crooklyn street scene of perfect black harmony. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Even on Palm Ave, the one of the biggest dope dealers in Linwood lived next to my grandparents, but you wouldn't have known it unless you knew that life. Right? He had the Corvettes. He was the first one with the cordless phone. You know what I'm saying? He was that dude. But he respected the street. His grass stayed cut. He came outside and spoke to my granddaddy, called him Reverend James, Elder Dean come down. He was it was Palm Ave was that. The killer part was, for me, a Cuban family and a Compton struggle, right? Because when I wasn't with my mama's side and I was with my daddy, I still saw another lifestyle. Everybody on my daddy's side sold dope or they were pimps. You know what I'm saying? I was a little boy when I wasn't around my grandparents. My father would take me with him to do pickups. And I'm elementary, right? My uncle, Carlos, straight up pimp, would come to the door to do the transaction butt naked with 3 women in the bed. And I'm like young.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My Uncle Michael whooping on women like it wasn't nothing. And my dad just waiting for, you know what I'm saying, him to get through so we can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so all of it, I said that to say, everybody made that thing look good.
Yeah.
And then because I lived in a subculture in school that basically celebrated the boys that became it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't get a reward for being, because the crazy part in Compton, the best athletes were young gang members.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
David, the 4 dudes I named, David, Nathaniel, Davon, and Bernard were the 4 best basketball players on our elementary team.
One of them was named Super Crip, was it?
Nuh-uh.
Because you hear that story about the guy, they be talking Matt Barnes and be talking about Shay Cotton.
Yeah.
It was a guy
And
named Super Crip.
And I'm talking about they were the best basketball players. My homie Marcus King and Rufus, the best athletes. But they banged like none other. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so they made it look good. And then I was legacy. And so it was a family thing behind me. It was like I was telling somebody the other day, I didn't really have to fight. People fought for me. And any man in that position, as a boy especially, oh, you good to go. And you really look good in front of all these other naive people. Cause it's like, oh, they gonna do that for you. Dude, I was at a dance, and young dude that I was beefing with, was walking back, in California, just like on the Wood movie. You know what I'm saying? Walking by, talking crazy, you know what I'm saying, at the dance. And I'm sitting on the bleachers with the girl I'm dealing with at that time. And the homies literally got up and stomped him out. And took me and escorted me to the car, like, come on, blood, let's go. And I'm like, wait, there we go. And so for me, again, it's that God part. Because it's like, who get escorted to the car? I'm talking about dudes getting busted in the head with OE bottles. And me and this girl, we both in high school.
Old English bottles, for those of y'all that don't know what OE is.
Old English. Yeah. Old English, 40 ounces. Yeah. Me and this girl, she in the 10th grade.
Yeah.
Imagine for her what that night looked like. I'm with B. We in the bleachers. Oh boy, Ralph acting stupid. They walk us to the Monte Carlo. We get in and we watching folk get busted in the head, and ain't nothing happening to him or me because I'm with him. My friends is running, and I'm getting escorted to the car. Man, I look like Michael Corleone. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking like Lil Mike in that thing. Yeah. And then you watch the movies. You had the conversations. And it's just like, you want it. And I wanted it. And that's the crazy part. It was like I wanted that more than God. Because they just made it look beneficial. The girl I liked that I mentioned at the beginning, Tina Hicks, she only dealt with drug dealers. So guess what?
Right.
All I knew when I got through with high school is I wanted to sell dope.
Yeah. Now, to your point, like I'm the youngest of my family, so I'm the baby. I got 2 older brothers and I got a sister, and so that's one of the things I'm more aware of talking to my sons about. If I talk about what I used to do in my past life and stuff like that, I try not to glorify it or do it because my dad, for one, my dad had plenty of pictures. He grew up in California, out there in L.A. and stuff, and so he always showed me. He had these white women. He had them 2 at a time. You know what I'm saying?
His dad, rest in peace, Prentice Brown. Like, if you heard his dad talk, I mean, like Barry White, the guy from the Allstate commercial, Q's dad from was it Love and Basketball? They ain't got nothing on his dad voice.
Okay,
yeah. Man, Morgan Freeman, like his dad, when his dad talked, he actually got a book series where he read
book
like
Proverbs.
Proverbs, and like his voice was like
one of them,
like that.
Yeah,
he had that. So, for when I heard about it, he was like, "Yeah, son, I had, I'm seeing all these pictures, and I'm looking like you telling me you graduated to mom and did this, but did it? It sounded like a hell of a life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?" And so, and my brother was the cool kid in Raleigh, Egypt, Tommy. You know what I'm saying? He was a GD. Right. You know what I mean? Had all the stuff. The girls loved him. We had 2 of our neighbors hop through the window in the middle of the night to have sex with him. And stuff like that. Yeah. And you looking like.
And we already know what Rodney is.
We know what Rodney is.
His brother Rodney.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm observing all this stuff, and I'm like, you're telling me this is where you been and where you graduated from, but it sounds like you lived a great life. Mm-hmm. And I'm seeing my brother, like I said, he had all the fresh, had the Charlotte Hornet
I want to say, but then
starter jacket.
He had a basketball scholarship, didn't he?
At Florida Memorial.
Yeah. So his oldest brother went to school in the basketball scholarship. So you got that. And
it was cool. He was a Kappa. Right. He came home when LL came out with the Black Panther album. He he had the vinyl album and stuff like that. So everything would look cool. So it was just more like, I gotta try this. You know what I'm saying? Even though I knew on the other side to where, my dad was a preacher, a reverend and all this stuff, but it was like, but this life, like y'all seem to be doing well. Yeah. You ain't shot up. Like Tommy went to jail a couple times or whatever like that, but he was living, you know what I'm saying? Nothing seemed to be going wrong.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking like I need to try to do this too, because at the end of the day, y'all look like y'all went good on the other side.
Yeah. And see, for me, after the lights and the action, the reality was the death.
Yep.
The deaths is what shook me. Right?
Yeah.
The God consciousness would get amplified because that reality of life and death would show its ugly face in this world, to your point, where y'all make it look really good.
Yeah.
And then for
Very
me,
good.
the crazy part was God used betrayal as the lesson and why I didn't need to do it. Right? The first cousin in my family who was ever murdered over it, he was set up by homies from the neighborhood. My closest friend after high school who looked out for me, OG, was killed by friends from the hood. My dad was robbed and set up by his friends. You know what I'm saying? All I knew was betrayal.
And so I'm gonna jump in because it's one you don't talk about this anymore. And I want to say it's when you had moved here and you used to talk about this, and you talked. And the only reason I bring this up because you talked about betrayal. You talked about a guy that was like kind of like your BG, had set you up, and tied you up, and put you in the bed.
Yeah,
like,
and so that's what I was gonna finish with that.
Yeah.
Because the final straw was that act of betrayal. Here I am, and again, I wasn't. This is how I never should have been in the lifestyle because my character didn't really line up with it. I wasn't heartless enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like to go into the rooms I went into, you could always tell I wasn't that person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I had a homie, Rob. Rob, a flat-foot, beat you in your face without blinking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I ain't talking about like 1-2 punch. I'm talking about don't stop.
Yeah.
Your face is disfigured.
Yeah.
And that wasn't me, right? And so I never fit in any of the rooms. And so my mistake, because I was that way, betrayal was just waiting to happen for me. Because I was too trusting. I was too, you know what I'm saying, in need of validation and acceptance. And because I was entitled, spoiled by the game, through the people who put me in the game, I didn't do like, you know what I'm saying, like most South Memphis, North Memphis niggas where it's like, nigga, I go in a room, I put my gun down like this. Because my cockiness, like, ain't no nigga stupid enough to, you know what I'm saying, try me.
Yeah.
That was my mistake. And so on the night that Shay talking about, here I am doing my dirt, went through a night, just had came off a drought, made some good money. Young boy that I met through my associates in Memphis. So me and him was cool. He stayed around. He wasn't there. He was never there for the money. Right? He wasn't that dude. He was just that dude that come around. And so again, I ain't taking him serious. You know what I'm saying? You just a young dude, young knucklehead. You know what I'm saying? I guess at some point they gonna put you on, you know what I'm saying, give you something so you can have something to do. And so we in there, go through the night, dude, and I had this gun, and it was my gun. I was a gun person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
What type of gun was it?
It was a 45 revolver.
45.
Yeah, and I put it down, and again, I'm so, as they say, green in the moment. I'm just like, he like, oh, be that, because it was pretty.
Yeah.
He like, oh, let me, and I'm just like, yeah, go ahead, and I'm counting. Thinking about what I'm gonna buy, what I need to put away so I can, go do, shoot, finish, roll my money, put it in my pocket, and the boy just turned the gun on me. And I'm just like, I'm in shock, right? Then the nigga part of me kick in, and I'm all in my head like, oh, this got me bumped up. I'm like, and then I'm mad at my niggas from Memphis. Like, what they put this nigga in the house with me, and this the kind of dude. I'm just all this in my head. Whole time he like trying to make sure I don't get loud because I used to have a spot. Junkie stayed there, you know the game, and he like, all right, take your clothes off, do this. And I'm just like, and so I'm mad. I'm like, this is crazy. And he said, get in the tub. I get in the tub, tell me, put my hands behind my back. This country nigga knew how to hog tie. You know what I'm saying? He knew how to hog tie.
Yeah. That's
hog tied me.
Stuff, yeah.
Right, in the tub.
Yeah.
And then went. Now, my gun don't skip, don't miss. Never seen it happen.
Yeah, no, not with a revolver.
Right. Click him. It scared the boy so bad. Whatever God did in that moment scared the boy. After 2 clicks, that man dropped the gun and ran out the apartment.
Hold on, okay, let's backtrack. So, you're in the tub.
Hog
tied.
Which is your hand behind your back,
right?
Like your feet tied up.
And he had your gun. I guess pointed at your head, or you know what I'm saying?
Stood over me and was just ready to end it right there, 2 to the head.
And again, it's a revolver.
Yeah.
Revolver, like revolvers don't jam.
Yep.
Like you get an automatic.
With all of in the chamber.
If you put the clip in it, the clip possibly can jam.
And
a
so
revolver does not, like, it's spinning.
It's spinning.
So if that hammer
we didn't
hits.
play Russian roulette.
So okay, so you're saying it was full.
It was full.
All right, so you hog tied in the tub. He got the gun, fully loaded gun, revolver, in the junk jam twice. Twice. And you saying after it jammed twice, he got shook enough.
He got so shook, he ran out the house. Soon as he left, I'm still in nigga mode. I'm yelling for the junkie in the other room, him and his girlfriend. Because I'm mad at them now. Everybody in trouble.
Anybody can get it.
Everybody in trouble.
Yeah. I bet. That's
Everybody
crazy.
in trouble. Come out of that. Calm down. Get to my sister. I'm on the phone with the plug and the homie. Dealing with it, processing it. Everybody like, B, we got you. Don't worry. You know what I'm saying? They asking me for the pass. It's like, we got it. Cause the dope wasn't my dope. Like I had just came out of drought. So I'm on this moment, I'm on consignment. So it's like everything messed up right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the person I'm on consignment with knew him too. So they went to him first, then went to that person, and everybody trying to fix it. Whole time, after I stop being mad, I pay attention to the fact that this gun.
What's supposed to jam? Like, revolver.
This gun did not release 2 bullets in the back of my head. And so, dude, JB, by that time, I'm in a whole nother headspace.
So
when they do reach out to me after they found the boy, they found him in a hotel, hide in a mug where because what we learned from it was that he was a junkie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And nobody knew it though.
Yeah.
Explain to people, because you say you was in a drought, and I know but what I'm saying is that we know this, because of that.
Yeah.
But what does it mean to be in consignment? Like, of course, I know what it means, but for the like, again, that what I just drove the car.
Yeah.
What does consignment mean?
Somebody fronted me a certain amount and expected a certain amount back.
So then, potentially, if you don't have,
then we was gonna have to figure it out,
right?
Until I did get it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because even in that, the crazy part was after all of that, right? And we find out what we find out about him. Here I am. Now coming off this draft. Now this is the thing. I tell people this in Memphis all the time in a joking way. Blame my mama and Deacon Dwayne Breckenridge, because They stopped at First Baptist Church on Broad Street and prayed that God shut me down. And so during this season, and it's in the game, it's historically known. Memphis had a drought in 98, 99 that was so serious that niggas couldn't get in and couldn't nothing get out. And I tell people this jokingly all the time, blame my mama.
Wow.
Because that thing happened. And in that craziness of it, I come out of it calm as I don't know what. Everybody, they talking to me about the circumstance, and I don't even care at this point because I'm still tripping off the fact I'm living. At this time, you could have gave that man a purple heart of, you know what I'm saying? The purple heart of whatever at that point. And I'm literally, dude, in this space, looking at God, like having like some real conversation. After that day, within 4 weeks, I turned my life over. I told God I was tired. I was like, man, I can't do this no more. Now, I don't know how you, Jesus and the Holy Ghost talk, but I was telling him, I was like, man, I can't do this no more. Whatever it is you want me to do, I need to go on and do it because you didn't. And now keep in mind, JB, that was my third time where I almost lost my life to a gun. That was the third gun in my life that jammed.
Okay, so
first time I hit Memphis, I was in South Memphis with a chick, checking her out.
So you said South Memphis.
Yeah, I was in South Memphis, standing on the block, just being me, fresh out of Cali, clean as I don't know what. I don't even remember.
What street was you on?
He went on Castelli.
No, he was Castelli. He was on Mallory.
Houses. I didn't go to no apartment. I wasn't going to do that.
That was on Dempster.
But my first week in Memphis, young boy, me and the girl talking out. She in front of my car. We chopping it up. Yeah. I'm trying to get at her. Young boy walk up. Wow. He one of them quick stick up kids. So whatever I had on me, he just took it. Yeah. He started walking away. This is how much the devil wanted me dead, though, dude. This boy all he had to do was walk away. This nigga turned around, went to fire. He was like, you know what, F this. Womp, womp. Nothing. The girl screamed. She thought it was about, she knew the bullet was coming. That was the second time.
That's crazy.
First time I was on Atlantic in Compton on a street called Atlantic. I used to sell in a hotel. One of our OGs, and that's why I told you betrayal is what God used to deal with me. OG just got out of jail. Heard about what we was doing to make money. Got mad. Got jealous. He the OG though. It's protocol where we come from.
Yeah.
He talking to my family earlier that day. They telling him, yeah, beating him. They up on Atlantic. And then I was the crazy. Me and my cousin, he taught me to be crazy. We was the crazy. We was blood, but we sold dope in Crip neighborhoods. And so everybody, that was the conversation. Like, them niggas crazy. How they down on Atlantic in the other hood.
Yeah.
Big homie was like, for real? Oh, okay. Came that night. We young BGs. OG coming. We like, yeah, OG. We got the booze for bad dog. You know what I'm saying? Come on in. Happy.
Yeah.
That nigga pulled out a sawed off. It was like, give me everything I got. And we looking at him, and he giving us the OG lesson, because now I ain't gonna even lie to you. At this point, I'm young. Nigga, I got tears. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even got to that place yet. Right. I'm just trying to make money.
Yeah.
He like, nigga, don't cry now, blood. He talking crazy to us.
Yeah.
And me and my homie D just like, get on the bed.
Yeah.
Boy, pull that thing. It was the first time I heard the click of a gun not firing. Would hear it 2 more times after that.
Okay, so when you say that, and again, like, because we kind of went forward, and you did this, for For those of y'all who don't know, you can catch Pastor B at the Common on Sundays.
So
like you had given this testimony, you were making an illustration, but you had given this testimony, and that was my first time hearing about it. But you talked about this time where it was back when you was in Compton. I don't know if you were leaving from home or you were going back home, and like the way the neighborhood was set up, it was like on one side it was Crips and on the other side it was y'all.
Oh, that was when I was in high school.
And so like, but you talked about how like they drove past you.
Yeah, that's high school.
And you decided to like.
Yeah, so you talking about the infamous Mark Twain elementary story.
Mark Twain.
The infamous story.
The infamous Mark Twain elementary. Yeah, when I was in high school, I was such a knucklehead. So again, family full of pimps, hustlers, players. So the worst thing about me was females. And I'm messing with everybody, baby mama, girlfriend, because, you know, I don't want no real relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my claim to fame as a junior was I was dating a girl who was a senior who was messing with one of my, like, number one enemies. And so, the brag for me was her pulling up in his car on our block. And the homies laughing like, this nigga got Bam girlfriend pulling up and his white and Bam had, everybody knew his car. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just like, I'm in it, right? In high school, young dude, junior. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Walk to school with blue Levi's and a black and yellow pea hat. You know what I'm saying? And on this one day, the story Roche talking about, you know, to get to the hood from where Linwood High was, it's a real hike. But you just it's a straight shot. All you got to do in mine, once you get to the alley, you in our hood. It's like the alley, folks knew don't go to the right. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm walking, and like I normally do, I didn't separated from everybody. Everybody making their way home, and you know what I'm saying. I'm steadily walking, going through, and again at that time in life, I was reckless. I ain't care. Pea hat on, walking down, and Bam drives the same car, white car. He drive by, and him and his homies they knew it was me, so they talking crazy. Cuz kind of whoop. And so me, I'm just like, whatever, just throwing it back at them.
Right.
I'm walking, and they hit the U. And so I, do my hard walk. I ain't gonna run. Because I'm like, I ain't too far from the alley. I'm going to walk it. And when they hit the U, though, I'm like, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 houses. We got to get these 5 houses, then just hit this right. Yeah. And so I'm walking, and they hit it. They know where I'm going. They know where I'm trying to get to. And I'm getting closer and closer. And so once I get to that last house before the alley, I done got cocky now. It's all suing at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they stopped. And so it's this weird, I ain't never told it this way, but it was this weird 4-way stop to the alley. So once I hit the alley, I think I'm talking big boy stuff and yelling down the alley while they stopped at the stop sign. And I'm like, what, blood? What y'all want to do? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get out the car. You know what I'm saying? Get out the car. It's over. You know what I'm saying? Get out the car. Get out.
Yeah.
You want me? Get out. And I'm standing at the alley like this. Just, come on. I done already yelled back that way. It was always the back window, because in California, the apartments got the windows and the under carports. And so the back windows was always open. So all I had to do was say what I had to say. And everybody was looking, you straight? What's up? I'm like, please hold. And I'm waiting on them. And then, bam, just pull off real hard, hit the left, go back that way. But yeah, that's the infamous Mark Twain.
That's crazy, bro.
That's the infamous.
So now, how did you? And I mean, again, like, you've given us so much, and we talked about this for those of you all who saw the live.
Epic, yeah.
Like, you said you grew up with your grandparents. Like, why was that? Why did you grow up with your grandparents?
I grew up with my grandparents, like I said. My mom worked a lot. My dad was in jail for most of my childhood. And so my mama was a go getter. You know what I'm saying? And so it wasn't nothing I was going it wasn't nothing I was going it wasn't nothing she wasn't gonna make sure we had. You know what I'm saying? And so my grandparents though were the kind that like, now you ain't gonna leave, cause like my mama she had that gypsy spirit. She moving anywhere. We went from Linwood, Compton, Hawthorne, Inglewood, Gardena. You know what I'm saying? We at one point, this is when I was younger though, so it didn't really matter. Like we lived straight in the heart of rolling 60s, off of Normandy. You know what I'm saying? And that's where my dad was from. You know what I'm saying? So she was just trying to stay around him. You know what I'm saying? We literally lived across from where my daddy sold his dope, so she could stay. You know what I'm saying, in that area. And man, yeah, it was just she was about her money, and so my grandparents always stepped in, and I wasn't the only grandchild they did it with, but I was the one. My grandparents' house, me, my little cousin Ben, and Keisha, we were the consistent kids that stayed with them through the years.
Yeah. Now, what I didn't pick up was, and the stories are crazy, and they, it's really just obviously part of your testimony, but it's like from Compton, from LA out there, how did you get to Memphis?
So I got to Memphis the first time because my mom's job moved her here.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, my mom's job moved her here. And in that, I'm sorry, yo.
Nah, you good.
In that, I was exposed to Memphis. Now, as a little boy, I saw Memphis because my family is literally from here. So here go another crazy theological piece for you. My great grandfather built the original Germantown Baptist Church.
Wow.
Him and his brothers were part of the team that built the original one that's still in front of the hospital.
Yeah.
Craig, now you want to know the crazy God piece? My first ministry job was with
That's why I did a wow when he said that.
Baptist Church.
Because when I first started doing stuff with him, that was where it was at. It was at Germantown Baptist Church. And so I had no idea. And I said, wow, because this is my first time hearing that.
My grandmother, before she died, she was like, you were supposed to come here.
Yeah.
You were supposed to come here. So my first job in ministry was at the place that my great grandfather and his brothers built.
And when Pastor Mike hooked me up with him, he was like, yeah, he be doing stuff out of Germantown. And so in my first thought, I was like, this nigga from Germantown? Like, you got me hooking up for that.
Right.
And I had no idea. Then when I heard him talk, I'm like, okay, he's clearly not from Germantown. Like, why he out in Germantown?
Yeah.
But to hear that now, and keep in mind, this was 20-some years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still, late teen. I'm 19. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? 19, 20, out here. And then so for him to say that.
So the crazy part to the original question. So I come here because of my mom's job. I get here. I see. At this time, I'm in between learning the hustle, right? And I'm watching and seeing opportunity, right? Leave, go back to Cali, and just getting lost in the sauce. Eventually came back because of just drama in Cali and figured out how I can make some money while I was here. And then I was never the dumb thug. Right. So while I was here, I went to school. Now, I was the kind of drug dealer, though. I only paid for the classes that taught me the stuff I wanted to learn, like film, television, theater. So, literally, I'm taking dope money, going down to the U of M admission, and registering for theater 101, television, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And my schedule was so crazy, people would be like, B, what are you doing? Because, television was only in the afternoon on Tuesday and Thursdays after 2 o'clock, right? And so on Tuesday and Thursday, you looking for me, I'm in television class. My theater classes I took theater class with Cedric Henderson and Deuce.
Yeah,
Deuce
Deuce Ford?
Yeah.
Sylvester Ford?
Yeah. I took theater class with them. My mom's cousin, Levi Frazier, was my professor. And the whole time, I'm selling weed to niggas.
Yeah, man. Okay, so that's crazy. Now, that's crazy. You said the Germantown, this church over there, over there by the hospital.
All that property with TJ Maxx and all of that is, my grandmother's family owned it.
Wow.
And so when I came to that day in 2000 and said, "Okay, God, I'm tired," it was ordained. You know what I'm saying? To his Abraham point earlier, God was like, "You gonna leave? You leave in Compton, and I'm gonna take you there." I didn't know there was here, but I literally left there. And the crazy part was, the maturity of me spiritually started after my cousin was killed. And I went through a long period of favor and grace that I could not explain. But the whole time while in college, at that time, I'm getting closer to God, talking to God, while still being a knucklehead, right?
Yeah.
But I'm talking about, I'm in church. You know what I'm saying? I'm in church. I done picked up this new practice where every night I go outside and pray and talk to God. You know what I'm saying? And so when I start reading scripture and I read the whole Abraham moment where he like look at the sand and look, I'm literally walking through that and had no biblical reference to draw from until I got to a point of full understanding. Like, dang, that was me.
Yeah.
That was me. And so that's my story, homie.
So, when I first linked up with you, and a lot of people from here know this, like, where did you come up with the concept of the block? Building lives outside the church was BLOC.
See.
But it also is a double entendre because it's like
I tried to
from
create
the block.
Yeah,
like so, like where did you come up with that and like explain that?
So block came from a space of a person who I was judged by the church before I got in church. So like when I did come to Memphis to visit my mom, I was always judged because I was the dude that wore the Dockers and the button down to church out of respect for my mama.
Yeah.
Right, but I was a straight Cali sagger. It was, you know what I'm saying, the Dockers is flat foot on the tip, you know what I'm saying? Shirt tucked in, but you know I'm sagging.
Yeah.
And so the Baptist deacons and the old ladies used to have a field day
Dressed
when
up
I
like
would
a
be
straight
in
cholo.
town. Yeah, they would have a field day talking to my mama about me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so when I came to the place of like, okay, God, I'm tired. I told Dr. Keith Norman on the green stairs at First Baptist, I said, dude, I don't want to go in there. I said, them people judge you. Them people they don't understand you. And I was like, and I ain't trying to be in that. And that man said to me, and this is where the block literally comes from. He said, as long as you are out here, you can never change what's in there. And when he said that, I said, then I need to bring the block in the church. And so out of that, it was like, all right, then let's build it. And it was like, all right, we're going to build it.
Man.
What made you get into the I guess the music space? Because like that was how we linked up. So now you talked about, I guess you had that moment in 2000, the bathtub moment, and then so now you're transitioning, you're changing, and so now when we link up in 2002, like I said, I'm young nigga like full of piss and vinegar, and you know what I'm saying, like. How did you get into that space?
To the music space. Yeah. So my family is musically connected. My mother and her sisters used to sing for James Cleveland. Okay. My aunt was the background singer for Shaka Khan and Luther Vandross.
Oh, wow.
And so my family was musical. When my mother was one of those traveling evangelist singers in South Central that literally people booked her. Like if they needed some rent money, they was calling Sister James. And she was doing them 5 o'clock concerts and packing it out because the city knew my family, right? And they were the Clark sisters of South Central. They were part of the Church of God in Christ. They was under Elder Ford. You know what I'm saying? So people knew them. So I was always connected to music. As I grew up, that person who I told y'all about that snuck away and went into the English teacher room to read Raising of the Sun was also a lover of music. And so when I wasn't reading, I was listening to music. My favorite artists are literally Stevie Wonder and Prince.
Oh, wow.
That's
I remember like you actually had a sermon series.
Yeah.
When Prince had passed, he had a whole sermon series.
And so music was always there. So then coming out of high school, the conversation between me and people that knew me, that gangbanged and hustled, was always about entertainment. Because all my homies wanted to come out. And I was, for a lot of them, the way out. Yeah. Because, again, I was different. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so my homie Robert and Pooh, when Dino got killed, Robert and Pooh literally funded me for 2 years to keep me from Compton. Yeah. And so I literally, and this is how old I am, I literally every week went to get a Western Union pickup from where they sent it to me to keep me in school. And while I was in school, I produced my first play, and the music part of me was in me. That's the other part, the backdrop to the block. I took my theater background and my love for music to create block experiences. You know what I'm saying? And so I never was the musician, but I was also a fan of Puffy. Right. And so I watched him and listened to the stories to be told about how this dude couldn't play nothing, but he could produce these hits. Yep. And so I started, because again, in elementary, I'm writing songs. With writing sermons, I'm writing songs. You know what I'm saying? Me and my cousin Sakina had this imagination that was just off the chain. We doing award shows in church, just depend on what day of the week it was. Right. And so music was in me. So to that, when I wasn't hustling, I was literally putting, like I told y'all about the club stuff, I was putting money into how do I get in the entertainment field. And then my homie Pooh and Robert, before Pooh died, the game plan was for me to become the next John Singleton. Because I had the story. We did the play. Yeah. Play did really good in California, up in the Inland Empire area. All the homies from the hood was proud. Suge had just opened the doors to Death Row. So we all like, boom, this it. We about to blow up. Yeah. And again, what I didn't prepare for was betrayal. Because then Pooh would be betrayed by a homie. And my whole life shifted.
The trajectory changed.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess that's how, like, we connected because, like, and you know this, but, like, on my dad's side of the family, like, I had 2 cousins, my cousin Joy, rest in peace. They both was on American Idol, One of them made it to the top 16, the other one top 32. Like, on my dad's side, everybody can sing, right? And then on my mom's side, her cousins are Maurice and Verdine from Earth, Wind, and Fire. So, like, when Maurice died, everybody like, how you get the obituary? I'm like, nigga, that's my mama first cousin. Like,
right.
Like, so we connected on that level. Yeah. And you talked about, the plays and stuff. Like, one of the things for people who know you, and of course the block experience, and the biggest thing when we first linked up, how did you come up with Bamboozled?
So, being the movie person who is a big Spike Lee fan. Yeah. I was cleaning out of storage. I got all the Spike Lee DVDs, y'all. I got every film that dude made on DVD. I was like, I'm gonna blow up.
25th Hour.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Everything.
Yeah. Crew.
She Gotta Have It to Crooklyn.
Mo Better Blues.
Mo Better
Mo
Blues.
Better Blues.
Only ones I don't have is his later ones. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Inside
one.
Man.
Yeah. No, I got Inside Man. I don't have the one when he tells the story about his grandparents in church. I don't have that.
I don't even know what that one is.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Yeah.
What's the one he got?
I gotta look that up.
So you got Son of Sam?
Yeah, I got
Oh,
Son of
wow.
Sam and
Yeah,
everything.
you got all of them.
Yeah, I got all of them. But anyway, my love for Spike, it literally became Bamboozle. The idea became my ex Bamboozle kind of thing. It was like I loved the Bamboozle movie, and I took the creative part of me, looked at church, and looked at the movie. And I realized that in church, it was a lot of folks cooning.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they were being led astray. And this is the bad part. I wish, where I am theologically now, I wish I was that dude during that day. Because the concepts I had, I would have killed it.
Because you took the Bamboozle movie, the theme of the Bamboozle movie, but the clip was from the Malcolm X
movie.
Malcolm X movie.
Yeah.
And so like it was called Bamboozle because it's so like the double play on it. Like if you remember Spike Lee had the movie Bamboozle with like Damon Wayans was in it.
Yeah.
But then like the Malcolm X speech where it's like we've been hoodwinked,
led
bamboozled, led astray, run them. So like, and then he kept replaying where Denzel was like, bamboozle. He had on loop and it was
so
like
then when I was creatively, I took the Belly clips, the Menace to Society clips, because now I'm going to deal with you creatively. Because literally the Block Experience became my soundtracks and movies. Mm-hmm. That was the whole concept behind
Paid
it.
in Full?
Yeah, it was like, I took Paid in Full.
Menace to Society,
and so what I did with Bamboozle was I tried to play off of the images again culturally that unfortunately as black people we glorify, we love, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To deal with the fact that we're being led astray. You know what I'm saying? That we have been bamboozled. To think that what DMX character and Nas character offered from Hype Williams as this thing that was really great and cool, it really wasn't.
Right.
And so we were led astray to look at Menace to Society and celebrate Old
right.
You know what I'm saying? Literally acting a whole fool. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember in the Bamboozle video, I spotlighted the part where Kane walks from the back into the living room and busts his old boy in the head with the gun. Mm-hmm. And again, it was that reality for me trying to communicate to an audience that even the kid, because Kane really, like Charles Dutton's character said, what you gonna do, Kane? You know what I'm saying? Kane wasn't supposed to be Old Dog. He really wasn't.
Right.
But because of where he was at and what he felt stuck in, he allowed it to lead him to become this dude that in the end, you know what I'm saying, was totally different from the dude that
his grandparents raised him.
Right, that his grandparents raised. And that was the other personal part for me, because Menace to Society spoke to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I was every bit it came out. I graduated with a 1.9. You know what I'm saying? My teachers, the stuff that Kane teachers said to him, they said the same thing to me. And all I was trying to do was walk across the stage. And I only walked across the stage because of my mama. It wasn't a personal goal.
Yeah.
And so Bamboozle was personal to me. And I think that was the other thing. With all the projects we did, they were personal. But they also, and this is the part I do thank God for, I did not become the filmmaker, but I made cinema. With the soundtracks, with the events, because we flat-foot told stories. Mm-hmm. And again, like I said, I don't hate it. I wish I would have been in this time of life because of what is just more accessible to a person like me back then.
Yeah.
I would have killed the game. I would have took my Apple phone, man, and we would have did all kind of movies. You know what I'm saying? You would have did a scene and then came out and rapped with the bat. You know what I'm saying? And just folks would be like, "Oh my God, these folks is killing." That's where I would have been.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, that whole Bamboozle thing, man, it was my Spike Lee moment. I think too that was the other reason why God really put the salt and pepper on it, because it touched a lot of people.
And you know what I want to say, and I want to say this on camera and to you. I don't know that I've ever said this to you, but like I used to get really frustrated because like, you know, I'm around like the war cliques and, you know, different people, like you have folks come and like, man, they do their thing. Everybody get hyped.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I would get frustrated because then when I do it, it's like everybody just. And I remember I got mad one time when we was out there at Germantown, like, and I got mad because I'm like, you had me. I'm like, man, you had me come out here and do this. Like, man, they just sitting there looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, Shay, you got to understand, like, man, when you up there, like, yo, you ain't that.
Yeah, he wasn't.
You know, like, you're not just entertained. Like, man, when you start speaking, like, people are listening.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, so man, you keep doing what you're doing because they're hearing what you're saying,
right?
And like, cause in my mind, I'm gauging my impact based on how much people moving.
Yeah,
and then what you were saying is like they can't move.
Yeah, nah, cause
and
what you was
you know what I'm
dropping,
saying?
Cause dude, it was like I was in Diddy mode. Cause for real, I knew I was strategic. War clique, you know what I'm saying? Essence and Aaliyah, you know what I'm saying? I was intentional, and it was like, okay, I'm gonna move you here, but you the knockout punch,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Everybody was the jab.
I'm like, man, you got me going last, and these
everybody was the jab. And then you was the one to come out, cause like I remember the first time when we did World Overcomers and War Clique opened, and then you came out to end it with the bat. That's how you end it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody hyped off the War Clique song. London do her thing. And then here come this dude with the bat to shut it down. And I ain't preached a sermon. You know what I'm saying? We done had dancing. We done had music. We done showed these videos. And now the dude with the bat gonna come and put these folks in straight fear.
Yep.
And they got it. Everywhere we went. Them days was crazy because like, what we did, nobody was doing. And then we weren't corny.
Yep. No, not at all.
You know
That's
what I'm
the key.
Yeah, we wasn't corny. You know what I'm saying? It was like people that came after us. They tried their best to do what we did, but they didn't have, like I said, even with War Clique was raw.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Y'all were raw.
Yeah.
Essence and Aaliyah was raw. They were two raw female lyricists that they wasn't corny. They like had real rap skills.
You talking about Essence Yarborough?
Yeah. So in our lyricists, like I said, we was out here like
we were the rawest possible presentation, and we were young.
Right.
And we was flat foot putting people on notice, and people was like, pastors was like, hey, how do we get y'all? What do we need to do? And again, this is the thing I regret with what we did. I wish, like I said, theologically, I wish I would have been stronger, because the creativity would have been greater. But I also wish I would have been a better businessman, because what we did then, all of us should now be established.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We Flatfoot had what UII and them did after us. UII should have been what we did. Mm-hmm. We should have trained people to be youth ministry leaders and create youth programs and recreation centers, because we was literally showing people how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Anytime a youth ministry come to you and say, show us how to do 1 month of a sermon series, and that's when we did the car joint. What did I call it? It was off of somebody's song, but it was solely about the cars. And we had, I'll never forget it, we had got cars in the parking lot. We had classics. We had all the cars. And so the kids come in and New Direction parking lot full of classics and all these different cars. And so before they even came in to see them, they had a car. We was doing car shows before niggas really started doing car shows.
Right.
That's what we literally did.
That's correct.
And when the car show was over, then you come in the little chapel and DJ Bo, you know what I'm saying, War Clique, Essence and Aaliyah, the little dancers we had, Alpha Lex. And then we came with our own
Alpha
mixtape,
Lex.
our own mixtape and CD and folks that, and then we were so green, we didn't even really mass produce it.
Yeah, no, we did.
On a level that would have again just established us. But when you got people telling you then, dude, come show us how to make a series. You know, Street Dreams. That's what it was called.
Yeah, Street Dreams.
Street Dreams.
Yep.
And we had a whole car show on the parking lot of New Direction.
And then you would play that clip from that the Nas video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where he in the casino and like the Street Dreams. You know what I'm saying? And he would like have different clips of like Nas with.
And that was the other thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
we didn't use. We never used church content
at all.
At all. Every message was from somebody. I remember the biggest thing for us was to always edit the cussing out.
Right.
Because you know what I'm saying? Belly and everything. Everybody cussed in them movies.
No, and then like, man, you gotta understand, like, this man had Belly, he had Memphis Society, he had South Central, he had Boys in the Hood, like Sugar Hill. Any hood movie that existed,
and that was
it was a clip, and he would just have different clips, like depending on what was being said, it would be like, oh snap, that's Sugar Hill. Then there's another one like, oh snap, that's Minister Society, like, and then there's another like where Cuba Gooding Jr. punching the air. It's like, oh, that's Boys in the Hood, like, or he'll have Ricky running getting shot,
right?
And it's like, and he would put them all together.
To be the film student I was, that was the other thing that made me dangerous, because I'm pulling. I was the preacher who knew movies and music, and I knew how to bring all of that together to convey the message. And like I said, the only thing I hate is that I just wasn't 10 toes into scripture.
Yeah,
because that thing would have been vicious.
Right.
That thing would have been vicious.
So man, look, I know like before I don't know, JB, you got anything else? I was gonna say like. And JB, if you got something else, you know, you can come with it. Where can the people find you at? Because I know we've talked about this, we've alluded, and I mean, we can. It's so many more adventures and stories and different
y'all might have to do me like Vlad doing part 1,
like man, we ain't talking.
No, he coming back on the preacher man for sure.
Right, yeah, like we ain't talking about fatherhood. We ain't talking about, you know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of different things you can speak of. I mean, even the early church experience to like where you are now. Yeah. But like, where can people find you at? You know, your social media handles.
So every Sunday I'm in the Mound on Park at the great Orange Mound Art Gallery, doing church in a very unconventional space. Loving the history of Orange Mound while I'm there, and so every Sunday 11:30, that's where you find me. You can find me on Facebook Live or Facebook period through the Common Memphis, or my personal is Broderick Connesero on Facebook, and that's the same handle on TikTok, Broderick Connesero. Right. And I ain't really an Instagrammer, and I just get on Twitter
every now and again.
That's my political. No, that's my political.
Oh, that's where y'all would get along with it.
Yeah, I go on Twitter. I go on X just to deal with politicals.
Yeah.
I ain't. It ain't no Jesus. You gonna hear me talk about everybody and their mama politically on X. So it's like, so don't follow me there. Yeah. If you don't have a conscious, spiritual consciousness, then no. But Facebook, Common Memphis, Broderick Connesero.
And I had tagged them when they made the post about preachers, who got hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you did. I saw that.
Right, like I said, Doc, Pastor Moss, my dad, PB. Yeah, I believe both PBs, Pastor B. I believe Prince Brown had hands because I used to shake your dad's hand. Oh yeah. And when I tell you, your whole hand would get swallowed up by his hand. If he hit you with that fist, it's over.
He made a statement every time he shook somebody's hand, so you just know who you're dealing with.
Right.
But
you
now,
got anything else for him?
I mean, plenty more, but I do need to get some sleep.
Yeah.
Right, I got prayer at 5:15.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. But this look like one of the rotation in the guest.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We might need to have him as a repeat guest on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Plenty more to talk about. Plenty more I want to pick his brain about.
Because then we stopped at 2002.
Right. That's. You like April 30th. April 30th. I celebrate 25 years of doing this thing.
Oh, we're talking about like ministry.
Yeah.
Okay. In Memphis or just
in Memphis?
Yeah.
In Memphis.
You know what I'm saying? We stopped at like 2000, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
Right.
this years afterwards, we ain't even delved into
I ain't hit you with the travels.
Right.
Yeah.
I ain't hit you with the Holy Hip Hop Awards.
Man, oh wow. None of the Red Zone adventures.
Right. None of that.
Red
Even
Zone.
the life after that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause that was, that's a whole nother story.
Right, yeah.
Now we got plenty more that I know we need to get into, man, when we do it. But man, we appreciate you coming through.
Yeah, for sure.
Appreciate blessing us
Appreciate
with your
the Q&A.
presence and everything rapping, man. Like you definitely hopefully open up a lot of minds of people that are listening. Open up my mind from seeing, you know, where you came from and where you are now. And so I'm looking forward to chopping it up.
All right.
I'm looking forward to chopping it up sooner than later, man. But y'all, until next time, continue with that executive mindset.
And most definitely keep it presidential.
Salute.
Arrivederci. Bow.